This is gonna be a float passing seminar, okay? I'm gonna show some how to float from like side control and mount a little bit too, because I just like floating. It's one of my favorite things to do, but we're gonna do float passing. When I originally learned this, I saw techniques online and then I went and tested it, and then it kept failing live, and I fully gave up on float passing because I didn't think it worked. And then years later, randomly, I just figured it out, and now I'm gonna try to give those secrets to you guys. So, Tyler, can I use you real quick? Go ahead and go down in front of me. So, we'll talk about entrances. Move this way a little bit. We'll talk about entrances. So I want to get to headquarters. That's the main position that we float from. There's some other stuff that we do, but I want to get to headquarters. All right. There's a lot of different ways to get here. The easiest ways is before they make a connection, you just put your partner on your back. You stuff their feet to their butt, and you step between their legs, and then I pinch my knees like I'm a little girl who has to pee, okay? I want my feet open and my knees together so I can feel their leg trapped here. I don't want to just step between my partner's legs and hope they keep their leg there, okay? The other thing that's cool about this, if you guys follow any of the meta in jiu-jitsu, is the two main leg lock type positions are getting both of your legs between your partner's legs or both of your legs around your partner's legs. So as the passer, headquarters is actually a pretty dope position because you put people on their back, you stuff their feet to the butt, and you step between the legs and you do that little stance, and now it's very difficult for them to leg lock you while you have this one trapped. Even if they grab the leg, this is part of where we're gonna float from. We're gonna float with our knee on their chest all the way to side control, okay? So once we get to headquarters and we pinch our knees together like this, now we can actually start floating. All floating is I'm getting my weight off of my feet onto other extremities. So my hands and my knees and my hips a little bit on this. So once I'm here, if you're struggling to pass in this position with regular passing, that's when I go to floating passing, okay? In this position, the traditional passes are stepping to one side and fighting for an underhook and going for knee slice and knee cut passes, or going the opposite direction into folding passes where your knee fires underneath and you have all your weight down. So traditionally when you get to headquarters, you either go left or right. One of the ways, underhook knee cut. The other way, my knee goes behind their knee all the way to the mat, like this. Folding pass, knee cut. Okay? If they lock themselves in position and they make it difficult to do either of those, this is where I start floating. In the gi, you can grab people's gi, but you don't need to. I start to transfer my weight to my hands, and my feet came off of them. So if we 360 this, I'm here, I have my stance, left and right doesn't feel good. It's time to float. My hands go down, my knees pinch, and my feet come up. Now I'm looking to hook my partner's ankle with my ankle. I am splitting his legs right now. I want to get all the way to this side when I float. Knees pinched, hands here, I pinch my knee, and then I start lifting my heels. And now I go ankle to ankle on the first one. As I hook this shin to shin, my knee is going to pinch on their knee and start causing this rotation of their hip. And now we can stretch it downwards until we fire all the way into basically three-quarter mount or mount. So this is the first one. This is like a lazy reaction from your partner. We step into headquarters. I feel good. My knees are pinched. In the gi, I would be pulling up on their lapel, making them miserable right here. I can't go left or right. They both fail. Hands down, my knees are pinching. I drive my knees into them and I started putting all my weight onto my hands to get my feet off the mat. And then my ankle hooks shin to shin. I'm gonna push down and then pinch my knee into their knee. Once their leg moves, I'm just dropping my hips into regular mount, okay? When you drill this, I want you to practice stepping into headquarters and doing the position of the other passes. Because this is how I catch floating passing against good guys. I'll try to do a knee cut, and then they'll start framing me with their leg and their arm, and I'll run them square, and now I'll start floating over the top really quickly. But we got to get used to just like left, right. Both failed. Okay, let me set up. Now we can start attacking and doing our stuff. So the first one's just a shin hook. And with your shin hook, your foot hook's here, your knee's gonna do this, and you're gonna do this to their leg. See how I'm turning that hip? And now I'm just dropping my knee down. Now we fight for our underhook and we crawl up. Headquarters, practice left and right. Now your partner's gonna resist a little. Now that they're like firm and rigid, now we can use them to like crawl and float, getting our feet off the mat. Any questions on the headquarters or passing left and right? Yeah.
I guess not passing left and right or headquarters, but like what's to keep them from moving those posts through your hands and trying to like dump you a specific direction that you're kind of.
So if I'm back here and his knees are like in front of me, and then I went to put my hands down, I'd be in a lot of danger because he could scoop up like a shoulder crunch or whatever. But I'm not back here where his legs can go to my face and my chest. So if I do this and he scoops a shoulder crunch, I will float over the top quickly. But I'll show how to do that like a little bit later. But he doesn't have his legs between me and him anymore because I'm pinning them with my bites. So even if he bites on my shoulder, he has no control over the rest of my body.
Okay, so it's difficult for him to load because he's pinned so close together.
Very similar to the Choi Bar seminar where I talk about bringing your knee up into people's throat.
Yeah.
I have control of his knees, so he can't really finish the shoulder crunch well.
Gotcha.
Now, if you do it really bad, they will finish it. So that's why I want you to work on trapping them here. Headquarters, boom. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was going to put my hand down and just punch him in the fucking face. So once I feel good here, now I can start passing left, right, up, shin to shin, pinch, extend, and now we're just dropping them out. Okay, any other questions before I punch Tyler again? Yeah.
I found like high-level guys would do the take an underhook to the tripod pass, that kind of thing, very similar floating stuff. But I found that if I go too high, they just launch me forward and I lose everything because they spin.
Correct. You don't want to just fire yourself all the way over the top. The initial part of headquarters is once you step here, you're supposed to be pinching your knees together and pulling on people's head, making them uncomfortable. And when he starts to push off, that's when I'll start looking to float over the top. And I'll show like a couple hip switch variations and some other stuff. But yeah, you don't want to just fire yourself really high where they kick you even higher and now you're really off balance. You want to be here, like loading their knee to your chest and pinching it. And now I'm low. I'm not way up here. I'm low, but I did transfer my weight off my tiptoes. So now I'm surfing on him as I can swivel my hips. And now I can shin hook and then start pummeling over to knee on belly and everything else, okay? We just gotta get used to getting to headquarters, moving left and right, and then looking for that first shin hook. Questions before I start showing the variations? All right, let's try it. On 3, 1, 2, 3. One thing I didn't say because I wasn't planning on teaching like a headquarters seminar, Tyler, can I have you real quick? Is when you step into headquarters, my knees are pinched, my feet are flaring. So if you guys can see this, my shin is fully behind that secondary knee, and it's like flaring their leg out, and initially so will my hand. This is the initial position of headquarters. Feet are wide, and I'm like flaring my heel as I push their leg down to the ankle. Now I've got them. Now I can float, ankle to ankle. Now I can just push the knee, and as I slip to this knee cut, I fire into my underhook, and now we're here. But I can't let them be here. This is no good for any of it. Here, if I started floating, they would just kick me over the top. Here, if I reach for an underhook, that knee will just stop my arm or the foot based on if they're flexible or not. So my initial position, I'm actually kind of pulling down on the knees, and then I push and flare them open. If I do this and he really tries to pinch his knees together, I'll just go right to folding passing. That knee will fire all the way through, and now I'm just gonna start getting heavy going to mount. Okay? Does that make sense for the initial position? Just because I saw a couple people not, they got to here and they're like, time to float, and it's like, no. Here is time to float. Yeah. Any questions on the headquarters?
So you're basically saying you gotta like make this
Yeah, and I'm doing this, literally. It looks weird. It feels terrible when you're on bottom. It's not strong for the person on bottom. I'm not doing it because it feels good for me. I'm doing it because it feels weak for them. Okay? Okay, so the first one is the one that I tried the most and failed the most, which is the one that I just showed you guys, where once we're in the position, we're putting our shin here, and then we're stretching, and now we're getting it. Now, that one, it works. It does. But I struggle to get my shin on people's ankle, going shin to shin all the time. So now what I do is I take the knee that's on the side that we're going to go towards. I'm going to pinch it right into the top of their hip. Okay? And I'm going to start to turn my hips as I do this. I'm going to turn myself. And now my knee is basically going to touch their stomach and be pressing sideways. This is where I do most of my floating style passing now. I can post on their leg and post on their shoulder or the mat. I can do double on the mat, but I'm going to turn both of my knees. And now I put all my weight on that first knee as I float out. And then I switch to regular knee on belly right away. Okay, this is the one that I use probably the most. Headquarters. I feel good. This knee is going to turn to their stomach. Now both my knees are facing. Now I start to drop my weight towards that leg and then a little bit onto my hands until one of my far foot is light, and now I'm back stepping it. And now we're here in knee on belly. So we approach and we're back stepping through. Okay? Some people do this as like a full hip switch. I like to do it more as like a knee down. There, it touched him. Now I just get a little bit of weight onto my hands. And I pummel over the top. Okay. Questions on this little hip switch position?
On that hip switch position, so like say we're kind of doing that sort of style of floating pass, like against like long-limbed individuals, how do you detach yourself? Because sometimes like
I do this.
Like, so you drag that knee up.
Yeah, because against long guys, it's hard to remove this hook. Like when you go to the hip switch, they'll follow like this. So I'll just scoop this leg and sit here.
Okay.
And now I come back. This is the same as reverse half guard passing. Half guard, reverse half guard with my knee up.
Gotcha.
And now I drop.
What if they're flexible and they're good at still tracking on top of that?
You won't be able to track because I'm pushing my knee down.
Oh, okay. So you're controlling that hip specifically.
It's a reverse knee on belly. Guys, anytime you're in like lasso guard and you get the side control, anytime somebody initiates a reverse triangle from side control, I put the point of my kneecap right on their hip, and then I lean my body towards their head, and then I start pushing this way. See how I'm moving his body?
Yeah.
So he initiates a reverse triangle like this. See how I forced it out with my kneecap? I'm doing the same thing from this pass.
Okay.
I'm stepping in, turning. Quick, you can scoop the leg, hands on the mat, hands on them. It's all preference, okay? Knees are pinched, and now I turn both of them the same way. And I switch. Questions? Hip switch, hip switch. No. Let's get it on 3. 1, 2, 3.
We just saw this at the end, me and Derek.
Mm-hmm.
So when you first go into the headquarters position, before you grab my head, like I feel like this is stuck, so I want to do this to get my leg back in front.
Yeah,
is that why you're grabbing the head?
Yeah, that's part of why I'm grabbing the head, is because I don't want you to be able to be here and press me away before I crunch you into a little ball. If I can make you into a little ball, you're not strong. So as I approach headquarters, I get my legs where they need to be, and then I start to try to make people uncomfortable. Yeah. And that, now it feels really weak, and I could start, if I ever do this and then you push with your knee, now I'm gonna pop it through, and then I'm gonna initiate my pass. It's even easier if the knee's like all the way through.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
So as the man on the bottom, you try and pummel the hand, or get the hands off.
Yes, and this is true in the gi also. If we pretend that we had gis on, if he lets me grab his collars, he's basically fucked here. I'm gonna crush him to a little ball, and I'm gonna keep crawling on him, okay? Anything else? No. A couple more quick entrances before I talk about floating from other positions. Shin to shin is super common for some of our leg lockers in here. So what I'm gonna do as the standing person is I'm gonna give him shin to shin. and I'm going to float to kick it off into headquarters. So initially, I approach my partner, and they go shin to shin. His ankle catches my ankle. I can either post on my partner with a thumb post on the neck or a collar tie, but my other hand is going to the mat, okay? And sometimes I'll just do this where both my hands go to the mat. But I'm gonna try to put weight onto my hands, again, to float my hips and my feet into the air. And as I do this, I'm now gonna lift myself and kick their hook off. And now I'm gonna go back into headquarters and start pummeling. Because of where we landed, I would start doing double underpassing. But if we land in headquarters, now I'm right back to floating from here. But if they're able to elevate me from shin to shin, they're gonna get underneath me and they're gonna go to leg locks. So he connects, I put weight onto my hands, I lean forward, and I'm floating until I can kick the grip off. Now I'm gonna start sliding back into headquarters. Now I'm back to my traditional passing, okay? I do this all the time, so we'll do it again. We're facing this way. He sits up, he goes shin to shin. I transfer weight onto my hands any way that I can, and I sort of drive into him, keeping my knee on him, and now I kick the foot off. And now I'm gonna start pummeling again to headquarters, back to my underhooks, my knee cuts, or my floating, okay? I do this to Trevor, who just got promoted to black belt. Haha, Trevor. All right, headquarters, I'm floating. I wanna get to headquarters. He goes shin to shin. I'm riding the wave, kicking the foot off and pummeling. Now I'm going right back to my regular headquarters passing, whether it be folding, knee cuts, or floating, okay? So when they're shin to shin, my weight's going down, I'm letting them lift, and when I feel good, I remove my leg and I kick the ankle and immediately pummel my butterfly hook. Now we're passing. And I do this like almost daily against good leg lockers. Okay. Questions on this entrance? Yeah.
I noticed on one of those you came from the outside to kick it versus bringing your leg to the inside.
It was just based on where his leg was. I just need to kick my own foot. That's
I know
it.
you're going to end up at headquarters if you keep it to the outside. Is it better to bring it to the inside? Or does it matter?
It doesn't really matter yet. I'm looking for headquarters. I really just don't want him to get both of his legs underneath me. Yeah. He goes shin to shin. I weight transfer, and now I'm kicking. Now my foot's behind his knee again. Now I can pass anywhere I want.
And if he's tracking the opposite leg,
What do you mean tracking it?
with his other leg,
He can be behind my knee. He won't be able to follow my foot. That's the difference. So if we go here and I go like this, he can't stop my foot from pummeling. Now I'm right back.
forgot to punch him in the face.
Yeah, right. Okay, and then the other one, we're going to do half guard. There's so many people who love to play half guard. So half guard knee shield. I'm going to post on my partner's hip, and I'm going to open myself backwards. If I do this, they're going to bite him or you're right and go to deep half or leg locky or whatever. I post on the hip, and I open up backwards, and I grab the knee, and now I'm headquarters. Okay? So this is one of the ways that I kept forcing this in preparation for the seminar, was posting on this hip and just running sideways. Now I'm in headquarters. Underhook, folding, hip switching, floating. Okay. Questions on these two entrances? Because I use these all the time. Questions?
Quick question. Whenever I go to shin on shin, I want to elevate you, right?
Correct.
So I guess like, are you trying to make sure you don't put your hand somewhere, you don't get elevated too much? Like,
No, I'm okay with the elevation. I'm not okay if you elevate me and my legs are really wide, because that's when you're going to slide under me.
okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
Is it kind of like accepting the elevation and
You can totally accept the elevation. You bring your feet together, and then you kick your foot off, and then you just come back down.
So you're kicking your own foot for sure.
That's what I do. I kick my own foot. That's how I think about it. Same thing on the back when I'm trapping people's arms. I'll kick my own wrist as I'm holding their wrist. Guarantees you trap their arm.
So your feet together will stop me from like inverting underneath you.
Correct.
and
So
all that stuff.
what he wants to do, right? If we back up a tiny bit towards the cones. What he wants to do is be here, and he tilts between my legs open, and then he's sliding underneath to do whatever he wants. He could go to my legs, he could spin around me, whatever. But he wants to tilt my legs open like this. So when I'm low and he starts tilting, I'm pinching my knees. See how I'm not letting him between my legs? Now I'm surfing. Now I'm just kicking until I can surf around the corner or surf to headquarters. But I'm pinching my legs, my hands are down, and then I'm able to move my hips and my knees. My knees are pinched.
Obviously, you did a bunch of cool shit off it, but are we not concerned with like that left hand still holding the lid? I feel like that would be a threat.
So when I'm here and I punch this off and I land back into regular headquarters, even if he has the knee inside, if he's holding the leg, I don't care. I'm just gonna go right back to this. He could go under the leg too, like under his own shin. I still don't care. I just need to stay here.
That butterfly kind of stuffs.
Yeah, both of these together are stuffing it. See how I'm crawling? Yeah. Questions on these? Because the entrances is where a lot of the cool shit happens around floating passing. Because if you enter the float before they realize they're getting floating passing, it's really easy to do. So you can run them up from half guard and then immediately float over the top. People don't even realize it's happening. Okay. Questions?
Can you tell me one more time, please?
Yeah. He goes shin to shin, and I'm trying to transfer my weight, pinching my knees, and I kick. And now we're just landing, and I'm playing from wherever to attack. Any headquarters pass from there. You don't necessarily have to go to the float, huh? Yeah. So half guard knee shield, seat clamping their hip. In the gi, I'm grabbing their belt right here, which is way stronger. But in nogi, I'm just gonna push their hip straight down, open myself, grab the bottom knee, and run sideways. Now I need to pummel that elbow inside as I start spreading their legs and getting to my headquarters position. Now I can float, or now I can start cutting one way or the other. Cool? All right, let's get it. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's regroup. I wanted to spend the first hour on the actual floating like passes like that where you're shin hooking, you're hip switching, and then some entrances. The last entrance that I had was it's very similar to the regular hip switch pass, but now it's basically from single leg X. So our partner actually gets to single leg X this time. They go shin to shin, they fire up, they're here in single leg X. What I'm gonna do is I need to peel this front foot off my hip. If you lean onto the foot, you're not gonna be able to grab the foot. Right? It's all, the whole bottom of the foot's pressed into my stomach, I can't do anything. So you have to lean away. I like to hip in. I always do this because I think it's funny. Right? I push my hips forward, I'm ready to peel the foot off. When I throw my hips back, I'm getting into the back step. So as I'm here, I'm grabbing the top of the foot, not here. This is terrible, okay? Top of the foot, and I twist, putting pressure on their knee. Now I'm gonna start to turn my knees in the same direction onto their stomach. And then I start to lean as I backstep, and now we're right back to knee on belly again, okay? I'm really digging my knee into their stomach on this one, guys. I'm opening, and now I'm dropping my knee. I'm trying to get my toes here like I'm doing a big lunge, like a warrior pose or whatever the fuck this is, okay? Once I'm here, I can start transferring all my weight to that knee, and then again, I'm turning and dropping my hips towards their face and their chest and their shoulder. I start digging my knee backwards, now I backstep. And then I pummel again to regular knee on belly, all right? We're here, he fires in, I lean, I peel the first foot off, and now I start turning my angle. That knee's digging straight down as I'm like lunging. And now I'm transferring, I'm still dropping my hip. Now I backstep. If you're struggling to free your leg because he stays sticky here, I can transfer to that same underhook and really start digging here to cause pressure, okay? But I'm doing the same concept. I can't just, the regular back step is this, guys. That's the regular back step. I just threw it by and I stayed standing. I didn't transfer any weight onto my hands. The reason it's a floating pass is because once I get here, I'm transferring again so I can pummel around, okay? Any questions on this one from single leg X?
When you grab you were talking about getting past those hooks again, and you grab the leg, is the pull of the leg and your hip, pushing your own hip, are they driving in opposite directions?
Yes. Once I get here, if I'm gonna scoop his leg, my knee's gotta drop straight down right into his stomach, straight down. As I'm hooking and leaning up, now I'm turning and I'm pushing my knee hard as I pull this up. So even if he keeps this hook, I'm here hard. Yeah. It doesn't feel good. And I'll hang out there. If I miss the back step, I'll just sit there on some people like, oh boy, what am I gonna do next? And they're still hooking me and I'm just making them uncomfortable. Just like a traditional jiu-jitsu, the older black belts where they would be like, oh, we get the side control and then we go to knee on belly and then we go, and just pull up on people, make them uncomfortable. Same thing here. I'm making them uncomfortable. I'm dropping that knee straight into their stomach as hard as I can. And now I'm turning so that my knee faces his thigh and my kneecap starts digging. I'm actively doing this, pushing down as I pull up. That's the position I'm looking for, okay? Questions on this is the last entrance, and then I'll talk about floating from side control and pinning arms and how to use other passes to float. Questions? Single leg X, peel the foot off, turn, drop that knee like a big boy lunge, and now I'm putting my hand down to get this foot up. And then you back step. If you need help, scoop the leg, same pass we did earlier. Okay? Let's get it on 3, 1, 2, 3. So the first thing is windshield wiping, right? The way that we windshield wipe with our feet is I put my weight all onto my knees until my feet come up, and then my feet are gonna travel together on whichever side. So as I do this, my hands go down, my feet come to my butt, and now I'm able to windshield wipe my feet left and right. This is super relevant to everything that has to do with side control stuff because I can come up to knee on belly, and then if he decides to, without actually touching my knee, if he decides to turn towards me, like he's gonna turn like this, I will then pinch my knee on the far hip, lean forward with my hips, and then a directional change to the other side. If he turns towards me on this side, I'll push my knee forward, push my hips forward, my hands go down, my heels come to my butt, and then I windshield wipe over the top. Okay, sometimes it's not worth it if someone turns on their side towards you to try and flatten them out here. If you can, that's great, but a lot of people are really good at blocking this crossface, so it's difficult to flatten them out. So I'll just pinch their hip and then run the side. Now I have a crossface on the far side. Now you start crushing before they're able to put that frame back inside, okay? Sometimes it's not worth it to try to push through. So when you're in knee on belly, my knees go down, they pinch, my hands go down, and now I'm kind of floating from here. My heels come to my butt, and then I switch sides with my feet. Okay? I'm not really digging my knee into their stomach. My knees are actually pinching on the outsides of their hips when I do this. So as I'm here in knee on belly, my knee goes all the way across. Now I'm able to windshield wipe over the top. Okay? Any questions on the basic windshield wipe? I'm going to talk about other stuff, but any questions on that before I move on? No. So this is also true whenever you're able to pin someone's arm, and we'll talk about it in a minute. But if I pin someone's arm, usually to attack, I have to switch which leg is pinning the arm. To do that, I start to transfer my weight onto my hands and my knees, my feet come together, and now I've switched which leg is pinning. So we're windshield wiping over the arm. Now I've pinned it the other way, now I can do really good spinning arm bars. So windshield wiping over their arm or from one side to the other from this position. I'm not stepping, and I'm not here, and my foot's not touching them. My feet come straight to my butt, you guys. I'm doing this. As I lean forward, my feet come to my butt. And now we're through. There's the pin, and I've windshield wiped over the top. Now I'm ready to do whatever the next attack is. But this is, everything that has to do with side control and mount, a lot of it starts off of this ability to windshield wipe through people. So any questions on the windshield wipe, and we'll drill it for just like 3 minutes because this is pretty simple. Questions? All right, let's do some windshield wiping on 3. 1, 2, 3. I really like windshield wiping. I really like pinning people's arm down. The most common thing that I teach on how to get people's hand to the mat, one, if you can ever just push someone's wrist down and then put your shin over it, now you've got it. Now all you have to do is put your weight forward and then windshield wipe, and now you can attack, right? The way that I'll mentally trick people for that one is I'll grab people's wrist or their elbow and I'll lift really hard. I'll pull up, and when they pull down, I'll push sideways. And now we can repin. This is a very simple concept. This isn't floating, but it's just one of the ways that I like to pin people's arm. The floating part now. So I just started passing my partner's guard. I'm past his thighs. I'm close to the hips. They're not fully pinned yet, right? I need my 3 count being past here. Now my 3 count starting, I want to get chest to chest. In a perfect world, they won't frame or do anything, and I can just get chest to chest. But in reality, as you start doing this, they start framing on you. So now again, look, I got my knees off the mat, right? I can do this with both legs. Initially, we're gonna use the top leg. I try to put weight onto my partner until they're basically stiff arming me with both arms, right? Now I take my top knee up, and the same thing as reverse knee on belly. It's gonna blade down their forearm, and then I turn. And now I switch the knee that's pinning the arm. And now I'm ready to attack right away. We're here, guillotines, spinning arm bars, reverse triangles, canto chokes, whatever you want to do, okay? But I'm trying to get the side control, and pushing the arm down is so hard. So I just lean on their frames and my hands. Now I'm ready to dance with my knees. The first one is the top knee comes up, and then I come down across their bicep, and now I turn my hips again towards the legs, and I start stretching it. And now I'll switch back. And you can do this pin on knee on belly or on the ground itself, okay? Stiff arms are really, really, really hard to get through going through the whole arm. They're really, really, really easy to break through chopping sideways. So as I try to get the side control and they stiff arm, I go sideways with my knee. And then I just windshield wipe and pass it off. Now I'm ready to attack or go to mount or whatever it may be. Now, if they're stiff arming and I start to take that knee over and they turn their elbow so that I can't get my knee down, now the bottom knee cuts. And then I switch back again. Now I'm windshield wiping and I'm ready to attack. Again, this is all coming from me doing this, guys. My knees aren't down. I'm leaning on my partner and a little bit onto my hands, and I'm on my toes. I'm trying to finish my pass and they stiff arm me. I elevate myself and I knee cut backwards over their bicep and their forearm. And now I switch the pin. And sometimes I'll do this to knee on belly, sometimes I'll do it to the ground. Okay? Any questions on this part? I do this a lot, yeah.
So whenever you start to cut there, like, I know I'm losing this. This is not helping me. I want to turn towards and start to wrestle up, right?
Uh-huh.
So are you trying to like win this underhook or?
No, because I'm in my floating position. So if you bridge into me and try to wrestle, this is where you're gonna get triangle omoplata. Yeah. Because I'm floating to throw omoplatas on people, they have to wrestle up with an underhook. So wrestle up with your underhook, and then as he takes me down, I've got to throw my hips and then fire my leg over. Now we're in omoplatas and triangles. So when I do floating, I'm already ready to move my hips. So if I do this and you fight for an underhook and you bridge, oh, look at this, arm bars and triangles on the far side too. So I'm gonna let that gap go because I'm still floating. I'm ready to move my hips around, going for stuff. So again, if the top leg can't pin, the bottom leg will. You can't block both at the same time. Top leg, I won. Top leg, bottom leg. Okay? I'm a big guy, right? I'm a big fat guy. I don't like using all my weight on people because then they think I'm a jerk, because I'm strong and I'm heavy. So I developed kind of a light style of passing. And then when I get the side control, rather than just crushing as hard as I can, I developed a light style of holding people down, shin pinning and floating around them. This is it. Okay? Yeah.
Your left foot being the active foot, the first one, are you really trying to like shoot that deep with your knee across?
I'm trying to get my knee like up by his shoulder and run it all the way to the hip. Very similar to how I showed this, when I hook the leg and I'm like stretching him, and I'm like sitting my butt towards his shoulder. I do the same thing right here. I go here. Now I'm back, and now we're doing fun stuff. Questions on this? This is like the basis of like hitting the arm initially. No. Let's give it a shot. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Questions killing that frame. Can I borrow some of the gi top real quick? Can I use it real quick, brother? So this part isn't floating. I apologize ahead of time. This isn't floating. So this part was floating, right? If they stiff arm me or they frame, I can either use the top or the bottom knee to bury that arm sideways, either direction, right? I get my hips off the mat, my knees are off the mat, I'm ready to pivot, swivel over the top, pin this however I need to, okay? What if they just do this, but I really want to pin? So we go to knee on belly, we grab their collar, and we pull up as hard as we can. Now, I cut my knee over their arm. I've yet to meet a single person on the planet that can stop me from pinning their arm. I might do this and they might wrestle into me and beat me still, but I've never met someone that can stop me from getting their arm to the ground, even with huge strength and size disparities, okay? If I just put my knee here, it's gonna be hard to move them. So initially I put my knee low on their stomach and I crank up on their collar as hard as I can because I really want this shin pin because I just attended this seminar. And now I'm pulling, and then I take my knee right over their forearm, all the way to that bicep, and then again, I'll just switch, and now I'm ready to attack. Okay, so this is just a way to force this. If they're giving me this, yes, I just get to play now. I get to do whatever I want. When they hide away, dude, what the, all right, you're gonna play this game, and I pull up, and now I dig sideways, and I always get the pin. Now I'm right back to pin. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? I know it's not floating. It's just how to force this, and it's fun. Yeah.
I'm assuming the same side gi to isolate that arm? The same side?
Yeah. I lift up this shoulder.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be lifting the shoulder and then digging it's like opposing forces. As I pull up on the shoulder, my shin blades into their forearm and gets the shin down, and gets the forearm down. That make sense? Yeah. Okay, so now, this is where I call it dancing on people, all right? When you go to knee on belly, if he doesn't touch my knee and he turns towards me, now we pivot. If they don't move, we can chase their back, or we can set up our cross face so as he turns into me, boom, my arm is already there and I'm ready to go, okay? If he doesn't touch my knee. 99% of people are taught day one in jiu-jitsu, when you're in side control, knee on belly and mount, is to frame and shrimp. And they all touch this knee. So the first thing that we did was they framed somewhere over here, and that top knee was coming in, if not the bottom knee, right? Now, as I go to knee on belly, they're gonna frame my knee. Now I go to reverse knee on belly, which pins the near side arm to their chest. Now I take my knee down to their hip, and I transfer all my weight onto my hand, and I do a big back step. And then I pull up on this arm, and now we have our arm bars, okay? So in slow motion, knee on belly. When he touches it, reverse knee on belly. And now I transfer my weight onto my hands, and then I don't kick my partner in the face. I go high with this when we're drilling, and then you pick up this near side arm, shovel your hips under the shoulder, and now we're here, and we have very easy arm bars. I've taught this before in class, and I've told people that it's fun to just do this to them, where you come here, they push on your knee, and then you go reverse knee on belly, and they push on this knee. And when I'm ready, I backstep in my arm bars. These can also be triangles, okay? Knee on belly, he pushes, reverse knee on belly. Here, now I go triangle, I just go belly down, and I have my tap, okay? So now we can knee on belly, reverse knee on belly, we can back step, windshield wipe, reverse knee on belly, back step. And this is where I start just dancing on people. Even if I didn't advance position, sometimes I'll go backwards just to keep dancing on people, just to practice floating around them. But again, I'm not here, they push, and then I fight it. I let it go. And I just switch. If they push on this one, I let it go. And I switch. But I'm just putting my weight on my hands a little, so there's really not a lot of weight on my knee. So when they push my knee, it's easy to switch. Last one, if both arms are underneath. okay? Palm to palm gable, chop. Gable, lean your head as your forearms come together. Okay? Questions, triangle armbar, and a little nogi baseball choke. You can do this in the gi also, by the way. You can come here and just like actually baseball choke people. Nothing wrong with that. We're practicing this part. Knee on belly, he pushes, reverse knee on belly. Plant my hand and I back step. Where did we land? Double unders, I'm gonna choke him. Where did we land? 1 and 1, armbar triangle. Okay. Questions here? Yeah.
Is it just that pressure from like the knee on belly with the hips that's keeping that arm that's underneath now?
Correct.
Like gable grip and then them or flexible or like kind of.
Yeah, it's more the same thing I showed earlier where I went to reverse knee on belly and I did this.
Yeah.
I pulled up on the knee. It's that pressure. So when I go knee on belly, if I really want to pin this arm, like if I'm planning on back stepping in a mount and he pushes here, I'm really gonna pin this and then take that shin all the way to the hip. Boom. Now I do my big back steps to my arm bars.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, because I
All
was
the way to the
thinking,
hip.
how do you prevent them, I guess, from trying to invert or fire on the leg from there? But when I watch it now, it makes more sense.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to. Questions on this, guys? This is the fun one to mess with people with. I usually show this to people like, dude, I hit it live. I'm like, all right, let's get it. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Questions on the whole like limb substitution thing. So I didn't say those words exactly earlier, but when you're going to side control, the first thing we did as we're trying to get to side control, they frame on us. We either use our top or bottom leg to pin their arm. And it's usually if they pin or push on one of my limbs, I'll throw another limb at it to stop them. So another good example of this, if I could have you in side control again, is if I'm trying to go for a crossface and they use this near side arm to block, a lot of people will pummel inside to fight for that crossface. Nothing wrong with that. That's A-okay. I still do it to this day. If I fight someone strong and I go like this and I feel them grip my wrist really tight, and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to pummel out of that. I just take my hand underneath my own shin behind my back and I put my shin over them. I don't have to do some crazy wrist roll thing. I'll put my own hand down so that their arm is even lower to the ground and I'll pull it under my shin and then I'll dig my shin in and now I've substituted my limb. Even though I wanted to grab him, they grabbed me first. I'm like, okay, cool, you can have that. And I pinned their arm, okay? I'm substituting the limbs. I said it to one of the groups earlier. As I go to positions like north-south, if people decide to frame on my chest, I will drop my hips in and pinch my knees to kill frames. And if I'm coming from north-south and they push on my hips with their arms, I'll drop my head into their arms to start pinning with my upper body. So I'm substituting my lower body for my upper body, but a smaller version of that is when you're in side control, you can just substitute 1 for 1. As I go to touch his face, I tricked him. I do this all the time, okay? It's really cool watching the Korean judoka. They play a lot off of the other person's grips. They'll throw you if you grip them too hard. And they won't grab you. It's the coolest shit ever. They try to pull away from an elbow grip and you death grip it. And they're like, cool, you're gonna hold that? Boom, and they drop into big seoi-nagis, taitoshis. They used your grip against you. So same thing, I want the head, but if he grabs, I can use that to pin him. Now I get the head for free. You don't have to fight that all the way in. Anytime you're struggling to pin with this one, to pin with my knee, I can just throw the other limbs at it to help it out. Does that make sense? I'm substituting my limbs, one for the other. Does that concept make sense before I talk about something else? Make sense? Yeah. Okay, so knee on belly, pinching, windshield wiping, knee on belly, to reverse knee on belly, we can back step. Another thing that I do a lot, when people frame and shrimp, this bottom knee comes in, right? Sometimes I know that this bottom knee is gonna come in and I'll pin it, but they still move their hips out. So this top knee starts coming in. When this happens, I will now pin the top knee and then windshield wipe over it to start working to the far side. So now what we're doing is, as I'm here, I'm trying to hold him in side control and I pin the bottom leg and that top leg comes in front. Now I'm going over and behind it and now I'm on this side. What happens when people have their legs sideways like this? They don't realize it, but you're exposing yourself to what I call like a thigh, like an outside thigh knee cut. A traditional knee cut is coming across the inside thigh like this, right? I step between his legs and I slice my knee. Knee slice, knee cut pass. When I don't have access to that, I can go over the top leg and knee cut over the outside of people's thigh. So I'll use this all the time when I'm trying to do my floating stuff, and I'm pinning the bottom knee, and this knee comes in. I'm like, oh gosh, now I'm popping over, and I'm like knee cutting their thigh. And same thing, you can do this from headquarters here. If you win this underhook, you can knee cut over the thigh. And now you're inside control on this far side. So as part of my floating game, all the time, I'll get all the way to a position where I'm here, or I do this, and this knee comes down. Now I'm coming back across, and I'm back this way. Or I'll just knee cut all the way over their thigh sideways. So if someone ever exposes their knees together sideways, by all means, you can collect, crush, Khabib, smash, pass, crawl up the body. I really like to do this though. I like to put in a knee cut going backwards across their thigh. So even though it's taught, and it is correct, the bottom person needs the bottom knee inside. When you're on top, a lot of the times, people will start to swivel this leg over because they're flexible. Now I'm gonna be pinning it, knee cut right back over it. Does that make sense? A knee cutting like the outside of people's thigh. Same thing if you enter a folding pass, headquarters, my knee goes all the way through. I'm here, what do I do next? Knee comes up, underhook, a knee cutting over the thigh. Now we're back. It's part of floating because I'm not trying to put a lot of pressure on my partner. I'm trying to float on him. I'm trying to dance in side control. I don't have a lot of pressure on him. There's hardly all my weight's on my toes and my ankles right now. So when I put my knee on him, I'm not really putting a lot of weight down. It's hard for them to move this knee. This one will get in my way all the time. Yeah, exactly. Now I'm cutting it down. Does that make sense? And now I'm getting ready to float this way or to knee cut back over his thigh sideways. Does that make sense? So when the bottom person does this, they expose this part of their leg, we knee cut right over it. We pin them sideways. All right? That's one of the only downsides to floating is there's not a lot of weight on the far leg. So when he's on top of me, he can go to the knee on belly on this leg. This one's hard to deal with flexible people. But now he can cut it down and jump. Yeah, exactly. Now if I'm really big and I open, he can, he got it. You guys see what I mean? But it's because people are really, really flexible, or you did a really good job putting their knees together. They're able to go from here all the way to here. However they get it, like this. Now the side of my thigh is exposed, you knee cut over it. But I use it all the time in the midst of my floating passing, okay? Any questions on this? This one's hard to explain because it's very situational, because the person has to basically do the dumb thing, which is bring that top leg over. So you really have to force that near side knee down, so they decide to do this to try to frame and shrimp again. And when they do this, we put pressure here. With our shins, with our knees, we pin them sideways. When they open back up, we go right back to floating. Okay? Questions on this? Yeah.
So drill it by stopping bottom leg.
So he's going to be on top. He's going to stop this knee with his hand, his shin, whatever. And I'm going to turn and slide the top knee in. Now he's going to be pinning and, dancing over it. One shin, the other shin. And if I really start to open, he can just slide over. See? And now he's like, he tried to pin me. And when they really try to force themselves open, you just slide back over them again. You go right back to not pinning them. Because floating, I'm not trying to really pin you. I'm trying to dance over you. So initially, because they turned, we pin them initially. And then when they move again, we slide right back to side control, knee on belly, that whole position, okay? And if you really want to drill it from a neutral forcing position, you practice putting them on their back, headquarters, we're here, folding pass. And now from the folding pass, you come up and over that thigh and you slide through. If you really just want to drill that part of it. But it happens more often for me when the bottom person's real flexible and they do a good job getting their knee inside. Okay? Questions on this?
During the portion of that like floating pass setup, so like, what if they're really good about like turtling back to guard? Are you just gonna focus on the back take after that, or things like that? Because they're already kind of baiting for that position to be able to do that.
You're saying rather than them bring this leg over, they just start turtling completely?
Yes.
So if they actually just turtle completely, I'm gonna go straight behind them, yeah. And when you get behind people, I wasn't gonna show this, but you can kind of float from here too by doing this. You sit on top of your partner and you pinch your knees on the outside of their hips here. And now I'm just getting ready to go for a ride. And what I mean by that is I just don't want him to sit back to guard, but because I'm pinching my knees right here and I pull myself on him, when he does sit back to guard, I floated. All right, so he keeps turning towards me, keep 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 turtle, 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 turtle. You guys see what I mean? Now, you're not gonna force people with good back takes if you do this, but you can hang out on top of people like this and just pinch your knees and just, I am tired. And you just wait here. When they move to sit back to guard, you just follow them with your pinching. So you're floating on them if they turtle. But yeah, I don't want them to turtle all the way up. I will try to cross-face people. I will try to flatten them out. But if they do, you can go to floating behind them if you want to.
Okay, yeah, because sometimes like I feel like from that position, so like people like Thomas or like people with the bigger stronger.
Yeah, he's got a good turtle.
They're really good at turtle. Yeah, they do that, and so it's frustrating. So now I'm trying to figure out how to ride through it.
Yeah, if they don't bring the top knee inside, this is a good example. If I'm in regular knee on belly and they don't touch me at all, and he just tries to turtle, I will fire over the top quickly and then look to drop. Before he gets all the way into turtle, I'll try to fire onto people's back by windshield wiping over and then trying to jump on their back, but it does become more of a scramble. It's a lot better to crush people back down flat.
Okay.
Or once they're fully in turtle, now we slowly start fighting from turtle like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Questions? Questions. So if you guys want to, you can drill the turtle part where the bottom person doesn't touch them. You can turn away or towards them. If I turn away, this knee is already ready. It's on this hip. And now he's pinching his knees. Don't throw a hook in. Yeah. All you're going to do is float here. When I sit back, yeah, he's already in that knee on belly. If I go away again, his knees come back up. And he's just guiding, like he's just feeding their body away with the knees. That's all it is. You're just practicing keeping your knee on them, but not really trying to hold them down. Again, part of floating, right? And then again, that second thing, we knee cut across the back of people's thighs. Okay. Questions on this? No. All right, let's get it on 3. 1, 2, 3. The bottom mount. I forgot to show it in mount. I will float my knees. I do this against dudes that are so big. If you guys have ever fought someone, they're so big that you can't touch both your knees to the mat at the same time, right? They're so big, you're like, dude, mount sucks because I can't actually put my knees down. I get onto my tiptoes. I'm not gonna sit this high when I do it. I'm just taking pressure off of him. But I get on my tiptoes and the inside of my knee will pin people's elbow. This is how I float in mount. So I'll be in a regular mount. I'm trying to crawl arms up overhead to do arm bars, triangles, back takes, right? I always want the arms up because he knows that he's gonna pull his arms to his ribs really tight. I pushed his arm down and I put the inside of my knee right over the crook of his elbow. And now with it there, I'll start digging my chokes. You can tap. Okay? I do this in nogi also. I'll pin and then I'll push the top of people's head and then I'll do Ezekiel chokes. And there's my tap. It's a trick on how to pin people by doing this. Now, the reason that I call it floating is because when you fight really big guys and you do this and this, they will flare that elbow and I'll just let it go and do it to the other side. Flare that elbow and I'll just let it go. And then one of the times they'll flare the elbow and now I'll just start crawling the arms up overhead. But I do this all the time on people. Okay, you can also flare into shin pins from mount and now we're attacking triangles, arm bars, and everything else, right? This was my first step on one of the arms and now I'm just swimming under the wrist and now my shin replaces. I'm pulling up on it and there's a wrist lock. All right, so this is the start of it though. I'm on my tiptoes. My knees are pinching their elbows. I will initiate this by pushing down on their arm and then putting my knee on top. Now I'll start trying to crawl 1 and 1. And now there's a triangle. All right, but it's all from this, I get off my knees and I get on my toes, pinching. And I'll just do it one at a time like this. Now I just play here. If he opens this elbow, I can take it and take all that space and crawl them overhead, okay? This is the last thing that we're gonna drill. Any questions on this? Again, you can do this for collar chokes, nogi Ezekiels, just crawling both arms up overhead. When people are tight, push their arm into their ribs and pinch your knee on top of their elbow. And then try to crawl up, then try to choke them. Watch them mentally freak out, then you can do whatever you want to them. Yeah. I'm doing this. I'm ready to move left and right. If I do this to someone that's really, really, really big, if I do this and they turn, go ahead and turn, I'll just bail. We'll just go right back to side control, right back to our pummeling games. It's like, I still need to be on top. I really don't want to get rolled into close guard or whatever, especially on someone way bigger than you. You just worked your ass off getting to mount. Don't give up top position because you really want to hold them down. You don't have to hold them down. Just float over them. Okay? Last thing from mount, any questions?
What happens if they try to take you back? If they're like literally just trying to push you back. Instead of bailing to the side, you're on top, pushing you because you're off balance. You don't have stability.
Well, I'm not going to do this. I'm doing this because his arms are close. That's why I'm doing it. If they're pushing into me, I'll immediately just start falling back on armbar. If they give you any type of push midsection, I'm just throwing legs over. You don't even have to do a good armbar. You'll catch arm bars. Okay. Last second questions, pinning from mount. Last thing. All right, let's get it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Any last second questions on the seminar? Any last second questions? Floating passing, floating from side control, this little knee floating thing from mount. Any questions at all? Questions? No. So again, first Sunday of every month, free seminar. I have a little box over there if you want to donate. You do not have to. These are free. Trust me, I'm cheap with my money. I get it. The next seminar is going to be a straight ankle lock seminar. Setting up straight ankles, finishing straight ankles, mechanics on it, and defending them. Because we got a lot of people that know how to do leg locks and a lot of people that don't know how to do leg locks at all. It's like you're either one or the other on the sides of the spectrum. I'll have some tips for you whether you're an advanced leg locker or not. Okay. Any last second questions about this seminar or the next one or giving me money? No, okay. So, all right, let's line up. Let's do a little picture real quick and we'll get out of here. Good job today, guys.
A mirror of the battle beneath my chest. Dragon warrior's voice, sharp as steel. Let go, only then you'll feel the current pulls, the weight of fear. But his words cut through crystal clear. To the surface, let the tide embrace the fire inside you. The water fades. No fight, no thrash, just let it go. Dragon warrior whisper. Bye.